Good afternoon to you. Mark Sudduth, HurricaneTrack.com here. Along Interstate 20, pulled off the highway not far out of Atlanta on my way to the Central Gulf Coast because of this right here. Tropical Storm Cindy now located in the Central Gulf. There is Brett. It is a tropical wave again, so we're not going to worry about Brett too much. This is the track map for Cindy that I wanted to show you first of all. And we can see a couple of things. It has certainly slowed down. And what we see with the yellow area, that's the current area of winds. And you can see that that extends pretty far away from the center of circulation, mainly off to the east. And then the track takes this up towards the Gulf Coast areas of Texas and Louisiana with a landfall of the center. And I'm going to show you that center in just a moment. I use that term loosely here, and you'll see why. Pretty much over the upper Texas coast, okay? So near Beaumont, Port Arthur, Orange, Texas. That's where the center would be located at landfall, according to the latest information, between midnight to 1 a.m. Thursday into 1 p.m. Thursday afternoon over eastern Texas, straddling the Sabine River. Now, let's take a look at the satellite from this, if I can find it. We'll just go up here. And you'll see what I'm talking about, that it's elongated, still not very well organized. And we're going to look at the loop here in the Gulf of Mexico. And you'll notice the deep convection is there. Is this going to loop? Yeah, it'll loop for me. Deep convection is there, as indicated by the oranges and the reds, but it is kind of like half of a system, okay? It's not very well organized, and most of the heavy weather, in fact all of it's going to be right over here in that area of showers and thunderstorms that morphs and comes and goes. The center of circulation is right here, and so everything's removed from that. And so all of that mass of very heavy rain is going to be headed towards the Gulf Coast. If we look at the public advisory, really not concerned too much about the center and its statistics right now because of the fact that this is such a lopsided storm. What I want to point out to you, this is looking like it could dump near a foot of rain over portions of the northern Gulf Coast, and 3 to 5 inches of rain possible in areas of Texas on the upper Texas coast, and that might include the Houston area, certainly into southeast Texas and the upper Texas coast. A couple of ways in looking at that. Tropical storm conditions, yeah, maybe, especially out on the rigs and platforms. But then right here, 1 foot to 3 feet of storm surge, and that's above ground level, expected in the warning area. And if we go back, hopefully I can pull up the map here. Let's see if it'll let me do this. We'll get rid of that. We'll go here. Let me show you that track map again. That warning area, that's an important part of this. I know it's here. Doing this on the road is a little harder than the laptop at home in the office. So this blue area here, maybe a 1 to 3 foot storm surge. So keep that in mind. You know, you think about the water coming up 1 to 3 feet, and that could happen in that bluish area. And that includes parts of the Bolivar Peninsula, all of it, and Galveston Bay, and even south, down Galveston to San Luis Pass in that region, the west end of Galveston. We're talking about a lot of water being pushed with this system around the Gulf of Mexico, ultimately ending up kind of funneled into that northwest corner. So, you know, the biggest hazards here, really, the heavy rainfall. I know I have a graphic for that. And for, you know what, let me show you this first. The intensity, this is why I'm not worried about it from a wind perspective. Overall, the intensity guidance basically is sloping off and sloping down over the next couple of days, so not too worried about this being a big wind event. But the rainfall, that is the big story here over the next 24 to 48 hours. Copious amounts of rain, and you think about the I-10 corridor going across this region, you need to be wary of that if you have travel plans, that this could be a big problem for you as you travel that area. So slow down on the interstate, take it easy. We do have this tropical storm out there. It's ugly compared to a classic looking system, but it's a big hazard for those who are basically unaware and don't care. And that's what I want to try to teach you, is to, hey, look, it's there. It can be a problem if you're not careful. And I'll be down along the Gulf Coast again, heading with the Chevy Tahoe here, streaming live actually through this iPhone to our Facebook and YouTube channels. And I'll be setting up some equipment, mainly for testing purposes, making sure everything's ready for the meat of the season ahead, when possibly we have something that looks a little less like that and a little more like what we're used to seeing. Unfortunately, we know what the Gulf can produce, so we're going to make sure we're ready by doing some setting up of equipment and doing reporting and other things, using this as a backdrop to do just that. But right down here, I will say this, along the central Gulf Coast here, Mississippi especially, and that's where I'm heading, they could have a lot of rainfall, so I'll be reporting on that as well. All right, thanks for tuning in. I'm Mark Suttoth, HurricaneTrack.com. I'll have another update done from the safety of the laptop in my hotel room late tonight, probably early in the morning. You night owls staying up, you'll see it, you'll get the notifications and whatnot. And be sure to check the app if you're using our app, Hurricane Impact. That video section you have to pull down to refresh, and you get the latest videos. Thanks for tuning in. I'll talk to you again in a few hours.